Hey guys, welcome to Control Geeks. This is Cody here with the review of Castlevania Lords of Shadows. You play as Gabriel Belmont, looking for a way to resurrect his dead girlfriend and help the Order of Light kill and take the power of the Lords of Shadows. Now, as far as story goes, this game definitely is unlike a lot of other Castlevanias. If you're someone who played the old ones, you know it's basically run through a castle, find Dracula, kill him. Nothing too big. In this game, I feel like there was really a lot of story that you could follow, and there was a lot of different characters they put in, and a lot of different places that you gotta run through to find him. Now, that being said, the environments can be really similar. Like, they'll just add snow, or put rain, or make it sunnier. They all look the same, basically. For gameplay, it plays a lot like God of War and Shadow of the Colossus combined. There's a lot of jumping and fighting monsters that are bigger than you and finding different points to fight on them, and most of the bosses will be that way. And for God of War, it uses basically the same mechanics, and a few of these moves I can honestly say are the same from God of War. Now, as far as mechanics go, it's pretty fun to play, and it's not very choppy. One problem it did have is the camera. You can tell they tried to use a dynamic camera to make it look like a different position or make it look more interesting, but sometimes the camera would get stuck a little too dynamic and would get stuck behind a wall, or would get stuck so high in the air you couldn't find out where you were on the screen. But it did give you a lot of enemies to fight, such as wargs, giant spiders, and even lichens, if you're into that kind of stuff, which is very fun to fight. Also, tons of different weapons to choose from, such as the spiked whip. The daggers are brought back in this. So is now they have a new thing called a crystal, and when you hold it up in the air, a giant monster comes to your side and eats all your enemies, which is just a pleasure to do every time, no matter who you are. Now, one problem it did have is with characters. Although there were a lot, it seemed like they threw them in and took them out willy-nilly no matter what. You'd be walking around somewhere and they'd be like, hey look, new character, and then bam, 10 seconds later, new character never shows up for the rest of the game. Now, as much as it seems like I'm dogging on this game, it is a very fun game. Also, when you buy it, you get a free copy of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which in my opinion is one of the best Castlevanias, and that alone is worth the money. Now, this game is very fun, worth the $60. In my opinion, it's a buy. If you have the money, you should definitely go out and pick this up, especially if you're a fan of God of War, Shadow of the Colossus, or Castlevania. Now, Riser said, if you were here, said that he really liked the game. His only problem was that the camera can be a little choppy sometimes, kind of hard to see where it's going. Also, it felt like it took too much out of different games and just kind of crammed them into the same thing with a Castlevania story behind it. But this has been the Control Geeks review of Castlevania Lords of Shadows. We will have more reviews coming out. Please leave any review ideas you have in the description box below, and we will get those made as soon as we can. We would like to thank Two for the Kingdom for giving us this idea, and this one is definitely out for him. So thank you again for that. Control Geeks out.